do this. Hello. I'm Tradespotting. You're here for financial freedom. The day-to-day that takes effort. Effort to learn. The cycle of progress. Entries and exits. Making a difference to your portfolio. You're here putting in efforts to help yourself and to help each other so that one person helps another. It takes practice, and you need practice because this is just the beginning of the fight. And that's exactly what it is, a fight to learn, to manage risk, to wrangle opportunities, to grow yourself and your account, a fight against your own fear and greed, and on a grander scale, it's also a fight against the terrorists that since the inception of the ongoing financial crisis in 2008 have shaken every exploitable dime from your pocket to service their toxic debts. Those same masters of the universe who stole every free minute beyond your job description to compensate for their toxic debts. To compensate for their own lack of productivity in the hopes of trapping you in a new form of modern slavery. Same people rip holes in the hearts of services set up to serve and protect you, your family, and your community. They took all the tools off you before you were in the fight. You've got no choice, no option. And you're even told you don't own your own voice. You don't even have a breath of your own. So it's a fight. And now there's even more short hedge funds than there were back then, preying and stalking on countless businesses, trying to destroy them. And in their destruction is also death. Death of hope, death of dreams. And that death lives still, unabashed, in the very center of your country. So we come here to perform our rituals, to enlighten and educate and entertain. And we do it every market day. The effort, the cycle, the fight, and the progress. In the end and along the way comes freedom. Freedom from shifting sands. Freedom from the constant fog. Freedom for once. If you could stand at the top of this mountain and see the land that's waiting for you, you'd never miss a day. You'd rage against the night. And you'd curse every minute you ever missed. If you haven't hit the like button yet, make up to your future self by hitting it now and clipping something I've said and send it to 5 or 10 people in your Facebook, WhatsApp, or Telegram group and remind them that we never went away. This is our time. This is our chance. This is our train, and we're taking it to the heart of darkness. First up is GME. Choo-choo. No help in rushing to be rich, but there's plenty of wealth in waiting to be right. Current prices ahead of market open, 129.84. Pre-market, 131.51. So 1.29% so far. As you can see, pretty plain charts here. Got a rocky outcrop flash area in the past, up around 135 on the daily time frame that was filled previously. This is the log chart, and we'll start it off with the Fibonacci to rule them all. And how far have we retraced into it so far? So this is when GME was down at $3 and change. Top side of that's at our all-time high, 483. And as you can see, there's important levels on this Fibonacci. The very first important one would be here at the 236. It comes in at around $155, and we're below it on the daily time frame. We could also here turn on our moving averages. In fact, look, here's one I did earlier, right? GME. Here's one I did earlier. And as you can see, along with that 236, which comes in at around 154, 155, we also have other information and artifacts on the chart. Let's take it up back to the daily time frame before open here. 200 period moving average comes in around those sort of levels. To the top side, you can see we're already at a support level here, 382 Fibonacci and 120, high 120s, right? We've got a test of that horizontal already. And then below there, we've got another 236, which would be the retracement we've measured from our most recent low to this most recent high. And that 236 comes in around $105, which also meets the basis line of this downward sloping channel at around the 15th of June. At that level, in the area where you would expect to find the basis level, should we get in around there today, would be about 117. So on the daily time frame, you can see a couple of levels close to us on either side of price action where you would anticipate finding some aspect of the range. The trend, as you can see on this time frame, is down. And that down so far has taken us beyond the 236. Sorry, that's this Fibonacci measuring it down this way. Beyond the 236 here. This is from our high to this low. This Fibonacci 236, where we'd hope to get support at around $106, that sort of area. This 236 that we've gone below is also above the 200 period moving average. The golden pocket within that Fibonacci comes in around $111, and that would be where I'd expect to find a support level on significant time frames. So even if we went through these levels on a wick, I'd expect the price action would find support there on a close on a daily time frame on the first pass at least. And this would be a golden pocket retracement, right? A golden pocket retracement, having previously made a golden pocket retracement at this high. As you can see, that comes in between the 618 and the 6.5, up at around 200 to 214 bucks. And that was where our most recent high came in within this downward sloping channel. So this is a basis line. This is also the horizontals you'd expect to find support at. And if you are measuring that and expecting to find it in confluence with the rest of this formation, then perhaps that time might also be relevant in around the first and second week of May, which obviously isn't far away now. That's the daily time frame. Market opened 131.34. Let's zoom in and get it in all of its glory. As you can see, price action open to the top side, above the range of yesterday's candle close. You can see that that's where yesterday's wick was. Price action retraced before the day closed. You open now above the 55 simple period moving average on the daily time frame, which is a positive move. We'll see if that persists. We've already found a tiny little bit of resistance at yesterday's high around 132.68, and the day has started positively. You can also see now on the 4-hour time frame, if you get this candle set in positive and the close comes in for 4 hours today, then you'll have 3 positive candles in a row, all opening and closing higher. That's very positive. Also, we'll be back above the 200 period moving average on the daily time frame, which is brilliant news. Down at the 2-hour, you can see this flash 135.5 that comes in at this high of this previous 2-hour candle close here, right? This was a negative candle, and top side of that range also where you find that flash, and that would be also above the 200 period moving average, which you're above now, and have opened yet not closed above today. Hourly, obviously this is the first hour of the day. You want to see that be as positive as possible. You have some volume so far. That's atypical at this stage of the range so far to see that. Obviously there was a big range on this particular candle, but it was at support down here. And then obviously there was volume on this candle, but it was at the start of a trend that broke down. So a big chunk of range, and you haven't really seen that yet. Yesterday's close, there was some. See what happens. This is when you'd look for volume to confirm volatility and volume to confirm trends later in the day. Now, on the 30-minute time frame, it looks like you're getting a rejection wick on this candle. It's just turned in a negative one. You can see on the oscillators now that you're still positive and aim to the top side. Nothing to worry about on the RSI yet. Though if that continues and the RSI gets higher, price action doesn't make it back up to around 132, and I say that with more than just a one wick, certainly just one rejection wick and then a negative candle, then at that stage you'd be thinking, well, that's bearish divergence and continuation to the downside might be expected. We'll see what happens. You're below the 200 period moving average on the 30-minute time frame, and the MACD is approaching levels where it could potentially give you a sell signal should it turn around. Volatility on this time frame isn't something that is going to get much actionable information from. So there is this potential confirmation of that previous cross, but you're below the 200 period moving average, so it's really just setting you up for a sell signal. That's the quick take on the GME price action at market open today. Should have made that a clip. I'm sure it would have been useful. So if you got anything from it, hit a like button. Hit that like button. Thank you very much, everybody who's tuned in. I'll just open this software, get that connected. Great. Feel free to support the stream by becoming a member. That's the button down beside the join down there. It's called join or whatever. It's underneath or around beside subscribe. Totally think about doing that, right? Totally think about doing that. There's only so many people who do. Thank you very much, Ronaldo Moreno. 25 freaking bucks. What a huge donation. And it came through on the printer. Lost the friends I needed losing, found the others along the way. Grateful for you in this community. No one like us, Jamie. Thank you, Ronaldo. Freaking legend. Check out Ronaldo. Check out Ronaldo Moreno's channel on YouTube and subscribe to him. And if you want to, support this channel like Ronaldo just did with a huge $25 donation. You know, support the channel, support the channel. Can't be me doing these streams and it costing me money regularly. That can't be happening, right? So, you know, and it is, and it has to be sustainable, right? And it's in your own best interests, right? So, like, you know, support the channel, be a member, be like Ronaldo there. What a freaking legend he is. Thanks very much, Ray. Lucky to have found you, Jamie. Thanks very much, gay babes. Lucky to have an audience, you know. It needed to be sustainable, right? Needed to be sustainable. So that's what we were talking about earlier. Let's go on to the actual chart. Back to GME, and we'll flick it onto AMC, the AMCs. Right, here's a quick take on AMCs. What a mess, eh? That's why I had this up. Go back to AMC on this nice, sprightly looking thing. I say that, but then immediately this horrible warning jumps out at you. It's a 1618 retracement, and it's a golden pocket retracement from the ultimate fib. And price action would typically go there when it breaks the 236 if it's playing between those ranges, which you might expect it to in highly volatile markets. You see it already approaching the 50%. You've got this important level where price action broke out. If you're starting on the daily time frame, and we'll like stick to the significant horizontal areas. Pardon me, the itchy nose. We'll stick to the significant horizontal levels here. And then look at other ones on other time frames, turnip farms, as we also call them, right? So you've got this 50% Fibonacci retracement. Oh my goodness, stop that. And a 1.13 extension there in close proximity at around 12 bucks or 11 bucks 69 or something, right? In around there, 50, call it 50, 11.50. And you've also got this horizontal level where price action bounced and ahead of the breakout with this huge all-time high. JT, have a pint on me, Jamie. Thank you very much, JT. I'm definitely going to do that tomorrow. Shadow of Lepton and I thought are not your favourites too. He said, oh, look at people's favourites. JT and Ronaldo are the favourites. Thank you very much. So that's really appreciated. Cheers, buddy. And the 1088 flash from Rocky, right? You can't ignore that. It's really obvious. And it's also got this nice purple background reminding you constantly about that. The wheel's going in the background there. Say the background. It's the foreground. So, one spot, one free, Rocky Flash, horizontal level, and I've got an itchy nose still. Oh my goodness, stop doing that, would you? So, also you had this bullish divergence, and this previous low and price action made its way back up to resistance, and that sense resistance was a horizontal level, a 236 Fibonacci line from the ultimate Fibonacci. Right, this is this old Fibonacci that we're still talking about, the same dominant one here from low to the high. It made its way back to that Fibonacci. It also made it to a 50% retracement on Yo, buddy, where are you starting at? Here, the ultimate high to the most recent low in the trend, that which we said was bullishly divergent. Anyway, the bullishness, the divergenta, pulled us back up to this downward sloping resistance line, which we'd had 1, 2, 3 touches on. The 236 resistance of this for a full Fibonacci, and a 50% retracement against that previous move we just made to the downside. So that was a natural area to find a high. It was also when we were at the top of the bullish control zone here, and this quite dramatic exit from it was replicated in price action. Dearie me, he says. He also broke this upward sloping trend here, right? As you could probably define with this line like that. You see it broken through there, despite having found some support at it initially, and that led to you breaking this important horizontal, which was the golden pocket retracement within this Fibonacci from the low here to this high here. This was the 236. We went through that at speed, and you would anticipate then getting to the golden pocket, which we also went through, rapidly recovered back to the inside there, and then failed again. And that failure might have been anticipated with this cross of the diagonal on the RSI. I mean, I say it might have, like it would have been, right, by me, as it was. So, and I said it there live on stream. You can go back and watch it. Watch me predicting it in real live time and everything. So anyway, this is AMC we're talking about now. And it's below the center line. It's below that important upward sloping diagonal, and it's below its own moving average. So none of those things are positive. And we're on the daily time frame. You can see that it's now down at 15.50. That's 2.21% from the open. Also finding resistance at the downward sloping diagonal continuation here. Potentially that looks like some sort of a bear flag in retrospect. And then your measured move, well, half staff, you'd already be there. Full move would take you back to the previous low or lower, which would then bring you back into that horizontal at 12.15. That would be the first lower, or that little bit extra, which would be the 1.13 extension, which would be a perfectly natural place for price action to go if it breaks the 886, which is like where it's headed at the minute at 1460. You know, I mean, that's where it's going at the minute. And if it goes beyond that, then it'll go to 1.13. And then if it goes beyond that, it'll go with this flash. And then if it doesn't bounce at any of those areas, I'd be very, very surprised, because nothing does that, right? If it's already done all this. It does bounce. These things bounce, right? And there's horizontal levels, very important ones. So there would likely be also a trend. There's this one here, which you could define with the body closes. And you might find that sooner than this, which is the wicks, and much more likely you'd actually, you know, similar places really, but this is what I'd be putting my attention on. So that's what I'm anticipating. That is very, very bearish outlook, isn't it, Tradespotting? No, it's just what the charts are saying, right? When you come up here, you also managed to like put in such extensive moves on the RSI, but failed to break these previous highs, and then you convergence. So you expect bearish divergence and divergence to lead back to like the same thing that you got when you moved to upside, right? You got up to support when you saw bullish divergence, and then you saw the bearish divergence, which was already confluent with the trend you were in. And you'd fail to break these important horizontals and go back against that previous trend. Well, you'd expect at least the same magnitude of a move from exactly the same signal, right? You wouldn't you? It would make sense. Down to the 4-hour time frame, and you can see these golden pockets of this dominant Fibonacci here. It's laid out a little bit beyond the 1.13 towards this critical zone, right? This is a critical zone for AMC here, right? Aside from on top of all the other things I've said about it bouncing here, if it ever gets there, that's critical. From this chart's perspective, right? That would be lower than these lows, and that would be very, very, very bad news. You start discounting all of this formation, you start looking down to these sort of levels here in this previous gap and this support, and then you'd be at 786, so why not go there? And then people would be asking if you'd broken this trend, and you'd probably touch the 886, and that'd be fucking that's why I'm saying it'd be critical, right? Because from these levels, you could lose 75%. But that's if it breaks, and it hasn't even got there once, never, right? And I would expect, if you've watched me more than once, then you'd anticipate like that being a first pass, being a strong bounce if it even gets there. If you've watched what I've said up until now, you probably expect it not to get there because it would bounce ahead of that likely. And anyway, so there's also a 1.618 extension right in the middle of that zone, along with the golden pocket looking left, and that's accidentally moving things there, and that is from this overall Fibonacci. The top side of that 236, that extended right, this yellow line also goes through the 0.5 retracement. We talked about this That's why price action most recently found a high at those zones. It'd also be likely to find it again. You don't, at this point, exceed the downward sloping diagonal line, so you could find a joint high at that stage. If you went there from now, it would look like a Adam or Adam and Eve. It's not the top of a trend, so that wouldn't work. In context, it would just be continuation to the downside with another lower high. Likely you would see bearish divergence if the RSI didn't make it higher. Price action did. I mean, not likely you would see it. That would be it, especially if price action. Anyway, so, right. At the minute, you're in a downtrend and continuation is expected, especially if price action falls into the bearish control zone on the 4-hour. On the 2-hour time frame, you've found resistance at this top side, which was previously like an upper sloping trend line. You were hoping to catch for support. You can now see you're in at these levels, testing what was previously support here already in the 886. Like we say, if this Fibonacci is a little bit further down at 1450 maybe. And that's where you'd be expecting the first part of the bounce in price action today. Should it push to that level, it's down 3.66% from open. And it's got a negative formation on that candle, so we'll see how things go. But currently it doesn't look fantastic. 1-hour time frame, again, slipping into this bearish control zone. Downward sloping resistance on this part of the trend. You can see on those 3 most recent highs matches the 3 most recent highs on this push to the downside. Does this mean you break up and put in a lower oscillation within the trend? Quite possibly. Then you would take it as this being the high, this being your most recent low, the 236 confluent with the previous golden pocket, confluence with the previous 236. You're asking a lot of price action now to break above $20. You're asking it to break above a psychological level, get above 3 important horizontals, all of which are critical with regarding to Fibonacci trading, and then you've also most recently put in highs as well as, like I say, it's important horizontal level. So that's like, should be in your attention if you're thinking about price action on AMC. And you can see now you're also at this level looking left where we found Rocky Outcrops proprietary indicator flashing up magic box signals, which, like, I mean, look at this, man. Anyway, right, so check that out, Rocky Outcrops channel. He'll be on later today. He's a freaking genius. And is that him at my front door? Wouldn't that be a crazy coincidence? We like a like surplus. First time in a while we've seen the green. Like surplus. Yummy. Right, so this is it. We've made it down to the 1 hour, and let's get some up-to-the-date crazy price action. Not managing to push lower yet on the RSI. Prices are pushing lower. Or, sorry, close to it anyway. Certainly they are at a previous low here. And so you would expect, if they don't hold, to either drop quite a big chunk, chaps, like down to 1450 percentage wise. That is a big chunk. You would expect that to happen, or this to turn around now, recover back up beyond the 236 and make an attempt at testing these levels up at around $18 again, maybe even up to 1850. What's the top side of the golden pocket? 1890, 1888, right? 1888, great year there, vintage. So it might get back towards those level. You know, if it does, hail, never walk alone. If not, right, then you're looking down at 1450, 1461, whatever that is, right? It's, you know, it's $14 or something. So in there, 100 likes. Way, congratulations, moi, and you guys, because, you know, other people agree with you. It's great, that, isn't it? Social validation. It's just akin to being good looking, I've heard. So what's next? 30 minutes. Well, we could have done some MACD, right? I mean, why did I did AMC over here, did I? Oh, that was because of the mess, so I came off it. Clean your charts, Jamie. Anyway, back to the technical analysis and stay on the rails. So 1618 extension, you've gone beyond that. 886, that's what we were talking about on the other chart there. Looking left, you can see this is where we had our penalty shootout before, and it was a fantastic rip-roaring success. Mexican wave afterwards. Winnie the Pooh style, though, unfortunately. So, what? Pooh sticks, you see. So, oh, he'll be back, Dagger. Origami manifold. This is message number 6, stock tips. Oi, correct. Stock tips. Oh my goodness. Message number 6, stock tips. Pennywise sent heed. Nice names there. Shit. Totes. How you doing? Nice laundry for the wife. What does that mean? That's interesting. Thanks, Origami Manifold. Tradespotting gave it to me. I did. Didn't I just? It's correct. Wow. Eh? Baptized. And under the TS. Wow, bing bong at market open. Totally. How you doing, Corman? Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Bunsen burner, there you are. There you are, Bunsen. There you are, Bunsen. There you are, origami manifold. It's quite funny because you fold things, to do the origami, isn't it? It's funny. And he's a man and stuff, right? God bless. Wow, check it out. What a day. Right, bing bong. So, yeah, like I say, you're heading towards $14, probably. Right, and Jamie, what's it been doing? 128.69. So this is negative. We've been rejection there from 55 simple on the 30-minute print frame. You didn't quite get above there for the valid sell signal, but I'm sure if you're short, then you're a weirdo anyway, so what do you care? Right, so here's the 55 exponential. Oh my goodness. And the 50 simple, which are like right next to each other. What crazy coincidence. 200 period moving average coming in around 144.55 to upside net, your friend. 10 months. Howdy, Jimmy. Us Jesus loves you. Us Jesus. It's the US Jesus. So it is. It's the US one. He's got some swagger, that one. Thanks. Then you're a weirdo anyways, Totes. Right. Notes. Ha! Look at that. You and I on some sort of rhythm, possibly. So there's a rejection wick on this candle. You've also got to move to the top side now. Not bad, right? 129 spot 29. That's also symmetry. What is going on? Right. Coco on the capture cam. It's the alliteration too. That's what gets you in the end. Nacho, friends. So there's like a wick either side of this thing, which is great, right? Because then if you were eating it, you could hold it on, but you could, jump, dead fast. Super easy. No cutlery to wash. Brilliant, right? Probably not even a plate. It depends. Did you barbecue? Later. See you later, manifold. Wait. Why did it say 7? Yeah, why did it and where? Me too, Amber. So we have been totally killing it, right? This is a great update. I could end this stream now and we'd be like, that was a brilliant stream. The GMETA, fantastic. Right? Intro, really got me going, right? Really got me going. And then, by the time the AMCT had finished, I was so good I got heartburn. That's what happened. I was so good I had heartburn. Couldn't even lie down, right? Couldn't sleep. I wasn't sleeping. I was doing the show. But had it been, I wouldn't have been able to. I could have hardly breathed, right? And that's the truth. Not a word of a lie. Could have had a baby dead. A baby by now. Oh my goodness, you could have had a baby. But then that's when the real fun starts, right? Which is sort of also similar. Chips are turned off though, Tradespotting. Chips and clips. Chips and clips, right? Get yourself your chips, your clips, your 2 liters of beer, head down to the beach, make sure you take your suntan lotion. The clips, the chips, we're out of clips, sorry. It's like, no, I came on this entire package holiday for the crisps. Like, you don't understand. It's very important. Anyway, we're talking about a lot of critical things today. This is a doji candle now. It's also looking awful there. I'm going to get off it because it looks awful. On early, it just looks just as bad. Stop doing that to me. I'll get down where there's something happening. There's a minute right now. This is downtrend. There's the volume. That's great. Yesterday's close. Boom. Today. Nothing. We just had to do it right at that moment. Sorry. Right, so let's see if this picks up now. You do have a little bit of interest on this breaking this previous high within the trend. Yeah, this is the lower one, but, and there's no bullish signal there. You've had a cross in MACD to the top side. Cool. You've had no divergence, though. This is just the result of price action come back up, and ultimately it's not higher than this. This is actually going to be a lower high gain, and then further oscillations. And then we're looking at these 3 levels, and we've defined them pretty clearly. Can we look at DWAC again? You frickin' boycott your would to bet you we can. And there's the donation as well from Mr. Nacho friend. Whoa, look at that. Boom. Thanks. Here, that's a good heads up from Nacho too. Look at that. Boom. 7.838 already on the day, and that's with this little bit of a touch down. Right, let's see this on daily. What's it look like? Is this the chart that I've been drawing on? Okay, see, this is why I lose drawings, because I go between different charts. Get too messy, and I abandon them. I abandon them. So what happens to houses, really? All over Scotland, right? I am this horrible... It's all the rubbish. Like, I'm absentee owner. And no, I don't know what I'm talking about, right? And get back to what I should be doing, right? Which is technical analysis on Digital World Acquisition Corp. Right. This was the most recent high that we paid attention to with regards to drawing out our Fibonacci's in at around $100. And this is a very recent low down at 34. Oof, huge chunk of change off there. And within this trend, you've pushed back to the top side. This is a good candle to close here. Then the next day open there, right after that wick. That's a rejection wick, and we held that horizontal. I mean, is that one that I drew? No, that's because of this as well. I mean, let's actually move that to it. Ding. And you can see held that with the body open. Nice. Recovery there. Also, like, you know, if you discount what I had on there, right, overall this is fantastic. You take it down time frames and you can see there's overall a bullishly engulfing formation here. And then this was a great reaction to the top side, making it up to where you find resistance, the 382 Fibonacci and 5140. You know, that's the sort of place I would have been saying price action probably goes to. I don't know why. There's a 236. If it breaks there, probably would have gone there. You did that. When was that? The day before yesterday. Did it yesterday? Wait a minute. What's happened? When was any of these things? When was these things? When did I last look at it? This drawing looks very nice. This previous high, maybe we're already here. Anyway, they subsequently put in a little bit of a, well, you know, this is 50-50 really. I mean, there was a bit, you might consider that a rejection, but this is a very positive candle, and then it's off the back of a very positive formation, which itself began with a bullish engulfing one. So that's quite great. And then it's like also a tweezer. That's a tweezer recovery there, right? If we get continuation here, despite the fact that on the 4-hour candle price action, you know, you had your wick there, potentially a rejection wick. Price action opened slightly lower than the previous close, then went down and wick down to the 236 where you found support, and then this reaction is really strong open. On a 4-hour, you've not got anything definitively printed in yet. You do have your flash up here at 65.59, which is also a golden pocket retracement, having recovered to 236, you know, and now retested it successfully so far on a 2-hour time frame and pushed up to the top side and recovered a 50 simple period moving average. All of that while you were like exceeding even the quite high expectations which were put in by an 8-period exponential moving average, which is there to make this point, really. It's not when price action is doing this and finding resistance off it, and nor is it to speak to the trend, because that's obvious anyway, right? I'd tell you that in a million different ways. It's mostly to see when it's exceeding it in the same direction of the trend by a significant amount, which is super interesting for me. Anywho, you came back and you retested all of these things at once, and it was a positive test, so that's good to see. I mean, it's still not marked in stone yet. There it is on the hourly, and you can see that there is something real happening there. It's good to see that. I mean, if you're long, right? Personally, good and bad are like false constructs when it comes to price action, but if you're long, obviously it's good, right? So there's 66.79. 66.79. Can we not just call that 69? Can we just call it 69? It's not really, yeah, no. Well, yeah, we can. Right, so yeah, we're aiming up here to the flash, right, 66.69, and there's a little bit on top of that, right? You can maybe get a little bit extra even. And the golden pocket at 6 when it comes at 67.6, and the top side of that golden pocket at 6.5, not 0.65, be up at 70 odd bucks, right? So that's 69.69, even better, right? Even better, right? That says the 90, but it means 69, 60. Anyway, so like I say, right, it's between the 69s, right? The 69s have it. And that's the way it works with 69. So there's 200 period moving average in the middle of that range on the hourly time frame. You know, it's also like no short order will have managed to reach into this previous level of resistance at 51. You'd like price action to make it above there before the 200 period found its way there, so that you didn't have that to contend with at the same time. If you do then get above this area, use it as support, as a forward operating base to launch assaults on this. And so no, back to the right. So no, it was that useful analogy, right? So if you do manage to make it here before the 200 period moving average, that'd be positive, right? And then blitzkrieg, 69, 69. No, stop it, right? So that's what you're looking for. And we're down to the 1 hour time frame. Your positive moves on the RSI, right? You cut your own moving average, you went back above the center line, you still got all of that and more, because you're out heading to the upside again with a little touch in the top side of the bullish control zone, which is like going down to the beach in the morning, putting your towel on the bit, like, or the swimming pool, and then being like, look at that, right? So it was blitzkrieg back then, now it's my towel in the swimming pool, and like, see you later. Right, so military bases in your country, thanks very much. So and everything else is in perpetuity, thank you. So up here, right, you're looking for that, right? I mean, I'm saying that often because that's what you would be looking for when you've seen it, right? How can you ignore it? Anyway, there's a 200 period moving average. You might find the price action has a little bit of, it's just to go through some oscillations in order to make it up here. I would anticipate it to do so. There's a number of important Fibonacci levels within this trend. 50% at 59. You know, that'll obviously be along the corner soon after a pass of the 200 and you'd like to make all these things, those steps that take you up to these target levels up around top side, maybe even exceed that, right? Yeah, let's see what it looks like on 30 minutes and see how the momentum looks. You've made it above the 200 period moving average, right? So you can add that to the list of other achievements that it's made in the meantime, right? Then volume on this thing's been picking up more recently since the low side of the trend. That would, at this stage, you would say that's potentially starting volume. I mean, you've broken above the 200 period moving average. You've had your cross to the downside on the MACD, but that's come while price action is flirting with, and then ultimately finding support at the 200. Believe Delorian, thank you very much. Just get this 2 seconds. Find support at the 200 and then potentially continue on. I can see that it looks like it's rolling over an RSI here, and you've fallen out the bullish control zone there. 200 period moving average here and 236 there. So perhaps, you know, you put in some sort of a formation where you come in, find support at these levels a few times, see if like you entered that very bullishly, see if that's a bull flag. I know in and of itself it perhaps look like a descending triangle. The measuring roof from that would take you down to 50 simple. You maybe find support at $40 or around those areas. If that doesn't hold, you're looking at 36 and down, and then perhaps continuation. You wouldn't be very positive at that stage, but so far, right, you're entering what could be a bullish formation, and you're doing it in ascending. Price action's already recovered certain areas on significant turnip farms, and it's now got others to aim for above, right? It looks like, you know, if it was like, you know, somebody has just come back into your office and it's like, oh, I'm tired, and that, you'd be like, no, you're not. Get fucking back out there. Get back out there. You're not tired at all. In fact, you're right in the middle of it, mate. Go for it. This is it, right? This is it. Go for it. Mind you, you'd be the momentum you want to see in the world. At this stage, you've managed to hold important levels, but like rolling over here, hold important horizontals and price action, well, this recovers and picks up at pace, and you kick it back out the door and tell it to get back to work, then maybe it does it. This uncrossing before you go back through the center line and price action holding 200 period moving average is very, very bullish, right? Even if it does go and then crosses it below it, that's a buy signal. So like, let's see how that works out. Does anyone know when we get the red headbands? Well, yo! I'll go get some, mate. I do. I know when you get the red headbands. After 90% of everybody else has gone bankrupt, then you get the red headbands. It's not an arbitrary number either. It's just real researched, actual hard facts. When it happens, holy goodness, I can't believe it. I can't believe we're even remotely there. How far ago was that I did them? I think we're nearly there now. Crazy. Or are we nearly there? Oh, secret. Would you last? I nearly missed it. Oh my God, I thought that was from the other one and this one, and it was from Brave Gloria Buck, and holy goodness, nearly missed it. Would you please look at link, interlink electronics, sir? Tradespotting. Yes, sir. Brave DeLorean Burke, sir. Yes, my lord, sir. We can do it up here, can't we? Yeah. Linkity, 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 link. There it is. Hey, Nacho friend. Thank you, Jamie. Excellent. Yeah, cover the great work. Thank you. Thank you very much. Nacho man. Nacho. See, I started singing that and the dogs started barking and that crazy. Trees started waving at me. Thank you very much. Now we're going to look at interlink electronics. We're not going to list down a 30-minute time frame. That'd be crazy. Starting a weekly. Woo, you're above 200. Woo. Below the 50 simple. But it's above the 200, right? So, and you're kind of testing it here. You've been flirting with it for a while on the weekly time frame. I can see that it's now simple crossing below the exponential. Right. Because it's not. But, or is it? It's very close. But it's not really all that important for a great. It's the esoteric thing I'm thinking about. Anyway, so in around 282, you had that previous flash. You had this retracement. That was a higher high. Touched the bearish control zone. Moved back up. Crossed above the 200 period moving average. Really extreme volatility. Holy shit. And then holding the 200 period as the cross came. So, like, you know, this is like crazy. Like, some people have been getting very excited at this stage. I mean, that's all the wick, but there'll have been buys in here, right? People have been buying it. And then they saw price action collapse, right? Collapse 70% of its value, 2/3 of it off there. All of that's predictable because you were coming up for a golden cross on a weekly time frame. And of course, price action was going to come back and test it, right? Of course it was. So that was very predictable, and then silly, right? So you got to check the big turnip farms, 5-day turnip firm. You also had the cross, right? I'm going to have had it everywhere because of the extent price action coming from $1 change and going to $21. Holy goodness. 3-day time frame, we got a flash down at 185. see they've had a lot of volatility subsequently, and you haven't yet managed to get rid of that flash. So it's still really there. You've just had earnings, and they were negative. You can see that price action's flirting with it. See now on the, like, it looked like the 50 simple and button up against the 50 simple on the weekly time frame. Like, oh, it's any day now, right? You think any day now, this is really good. It's also orientated above the 200. So we break the 50 and we've already tested the golden cross. This is great. Let's go. And then you go down through the time frames and you're like, it really seems to be finding it difficult, right? It really does. And then also price action is like being flirting with like putting in a downtrend. I know this looks like sideways price action, but you're most of the time in the below the center line on RSI here, right? Most of the time. And you're putting in lower lows and like ultimately lower highs, even though you're going sideways, which is not fantastic at all. A little bit of volume at this low, and then would you rounded it all off there? I mean, not necessarily. That might have been people closing positions when you exceeded the body closes down here too, and like a little bit of flux. So there's not distinctly amount of volume here from the start of a trend. That might have just been people closing positions that were long back here. And people don't trade this all that frequently, I suppose, right? It's very volatile, a little bit illiquid. MACD, you're above the 200 and you've had a potential positive cross, but you've had a few of them and they don't work out very well recently. Let's see this one. It just undid itself straight away. Minor gain below the center line. Holding the 200 though, so I'm not going to criticize it too much. And then down to the 2-day, you're below the 200 and the 50 simple is also crossing below there. So that's negative. You've come back up to test it and so far it's failed. You've had a cross in the MACD that again turned into a failure. Between these two lows, I suppose if you're including the entirety of price action here, then there would be a touch of divergentitis. Testing back up at that 200 and failing's typical, not getting back above the center lines, not hopeful. Daily time frame, something positive? No, failures every time you're above the center line. MACD cross coming in, fear for giving a sell signal as price action opens down and continues to downside with a wick. 965, 4-hour time frame. You're at 965 at the minute, so you're not printing any candles because there hasn't been any transactions because it's an illiquid market. But that's your current last bid, was it? Where is it? Markets are open. Where are you, price action? Somewhere in here, but it's not yet identified itself. Like, beep. It's like the hunt for the red price action. October. Is that you? Don't call me. Yeah. Where's your Victor? I want you to be happy too, sir. Yes, I want you to be happy as well. I want you to be happy too, mate. I want you to be happy. I wish happiness for you. Oh, I wish happiness for you. Says Samuel. What a nice way of saying it. Wow, great minds. Right, what's happening? Are we all... in a yellow submarine. Right, price action here. Why is it hiding? It's hiding. That's not the mystery. It's where it's going. We know it's at 965 because we've got a big thing at the bottom underneath me telling me that. Look, link, 965. Wow, that's magic. You got up here, you got a flash at 1126. That's a big percentage move. Down here, you got a flash at 885. Ugh. Right, 4-hour. Can you get anything on this? This is very illiquid. 200 period moving average in 4-hour. It's just showing up and it's down at $7. You've got gaps all over the place. Holy goodness gracious me. Interlink Electronics Inc. engages in the design, development, manufacture, and sale of force sensing technology solutions. What, mate? His products include force sensing, position sensing. Here, what? This is, what's that? I don't know, right? So that's a bit mental. So yeah, force sensing. Well, I mean, great. So they've commoditized that now, have they? Right, 4-hour time frame, $7 for your moving out. Is this like a test of how impossible it is to do TA? Why does it not give me information unless I'm on a weekly time frame? Like, yes, information for ages, brilliant. That's nice. I'll be down to the 3-day. Yeah, I'll give you some daily. Wow, you're actually giving me information. Why is it doing that now? That seems weird. Shadow of Lepton, $10. Sir Jamie, VLNS is at an all-time low and perhaps poised for a rebound. Apparently, can you offer an opinion? Well, I can strap one to my belt. Many thanks. I'll definitely have a look at that. 2 seconds. What's going on? What's the ticker here? Hey, what's the ticker here? Link. It's Link. It's Link Electronics. It's they engage in force sensing, right? I don't know, right? So yeah, you get a lot of information now. Why wasn't I getting it before? What was going on with that? Anyway, was it because it's a 4 hours just like bunkers, right? There's your 4 hours. It's like, it's just like, what is that? That is not this. That's not this, right? So you're not getting much less than the 4 hours. So it's daily, right? We're sticking to the daily time frame. Okay, here goes. Here's the low, and then there's the most recent high. That was right crazy move there from, like I was saying, $1 to 21 and change. And then the move back subsequently so far, compass and price action, you can see that we're on the 236 now of this retracement here, which we recovered. Cool. We didn't manage to persist above it. Not cool. And putting in lower highs and lower lows on this part of the trend. And again, this part, if this is separate, it's not great either. So this 236, so that's important area. Pardon me, looking left, you can see this previous 236 is also an important area, and it's provided resistance to price action a number of times in this 236. We're hoping to be providing support, but it's not doing a fantastic job of it, is it really? The 382 and that being a better job of it, and then even then you've not managed to do anything that's staggering, like it's not setting the heather alight, Rocky would say, in at the 382, and as such, maybe you'd expect a retracement back down to 50%. When you start looking at this horizontally, you'd be like, well, that's crap, right? It's that you really needed to bounce at these levels. You got one because of this high. You went through this previous one. That puts most of this formation in question, right? The integrity of it, it's all one uptrend anyway. So I'm like, well, where's my significant horizontals? And it's the golden pocket, argity dargity, right? And that's down here at $4.14. And there's the previous flash close at around $2.08, and we already saw what that other flash was in that other time frame, so you conclude that as well. If you hold that 236 top side, lower high would come in probably, and you'd be reaching up to 14.49. That's a very, very big move from where you are at the minute, 9.65. Do I think that's going to happen? Well, if you hold the 200 period moving average on daily and you hold the 236, and this RSI recovers above the center line, then maybe, right? You just had negative earnings and you're in a sideways / actual downtrend there though, and you're below important horizontal levels and loads of other things on higher time frames, and then other 4 hour time frames, your support levels would be suggested. Like, this is just bonkers again. This bonkers. Something's happened here, right, that made it all different. 9th of June. And so like that's really like the best I can do for you is really like staying away from that 4 hour nonsense. It still matches up with some things, but what's with these gaps and all that? Like, what's that all about? The gap from $2.90 to $9.29, and in a daily time frame, no. Like, why, what? So, yeah. So, there'll be a reason for that. Is there any news or something? It's not telling me anything. Oh, 30 million. Oh, they've got loads of different shares on offer, have they? Got to do different share classes and everything. They've got a mixed offer in, haven't they? Seems like they've got some corporate action I wasn't aware of before I go. It's the strangest chart to find an exit. It uses sensors that are used in smartphones, GPS, etc. To sense the force of, like, it's so weird. It's a super weird thing. That's cool. So interesting technology there. You could be force sensing in all sorts of things nowadays. So yeah. So in terms of entries and exits, right? Like right, go back to the daily because I don't actually know, right? The 4 hour thing, I would stay away from it because of the corporate action. It suggests that it's going through there until it finds something. And daily time frame, I can speak to this 236, that 200 period moving average, and that all looking good. I'd like to see all the other things I said turn positive, and then that would be your entry, and that would be your exit. But I don't know, if it doesn't hold that, then like you come in here, it's like previous support's already touched it twice, and it's not really important macro level other than this one touch here, and you've already touched, like, I mean, you touched lows here, right? There's lows and lows and lows, so it's got loads and loads and loads of significance, and you've not gone up and done anything to resistance above significantly since. So I'd say that that's significant and it's brittle. And then I'd be looking at these sort of entries at $4 and change and thinking, that stage. You've had a golden pocket, you've got another golden pocket, perhaps it goes a bit more. Don't try and catch a knife, see recovery, and then look for a move back up here, and you might get something like 50, 100% trade within that range, right? So if it doesn't take this topside one, I don't know, right, you could short it. Again, that would be the same entry, and like the exit would be defined by the same sort of things, because you'd be other side 200 period moving average. It's a daily time frame though, so but like however you want to play it, you'd look for something smaller on candlestick entries and whatnot. But those time frames are just doing my head in, so don't you want to click them? And so yeah, I mean, you could take that, or you could like reduce your risk by looking for an oscillation back up against this trend should it break down, or you could hold that, go to the top side from here if you thought about it, wanted to do that. It's just I wouldn't really be wanting to trade it when there's extra risk on the table, which there is with all their. No, that was on the 17th. That was on what? The 13th of December. Well, then the 4-hour time frame's been going spacker since when, though? 2016. This doesn't make sense to me. So whatever that's all about. So that's that. And then thanks very much for that brief to learn about. Very, very much. And channel up to 10 bucks. VLNS. VLNS. The Valens Company. The VLNS. Sarah Lipton, typical, I picked something like Spanish, like the VLNS. VLNS. Because it put Shadow Lipton, Barcelona. Long story, right? So a lot of volume there. That was ahead of price action collapsing. And 200 period moving average 378. That's miles away. 50 simple went through the 200 on the daily. Price action was following it down, so you can call that your test and failure. This is a retest of the 50 and failure every time. And subsequently, this is where you've spent most time above it since. It ultimately also resulted in a continuation to the downside. And as we say, the volume that began that trend started in around $2.20 or something. And some profit being taken at this previous low. Then again here, which you can tell you is an extension. 1618 was the next chunk of volume, and then price action here. The next chunk of volume came off as the bullish divergence started to appear on the RSI. So there is a potential turnaround coming in there. It has reached natural levels, and you can see the volume that started that trend has dissipated and likely closed. And you can see you've got a potential cross on the MACD. You're significantly far away from the 200 moving average on the daily time frame, but that alongside a move outside above the bearish control zone there, that'd be very positive. You're already done your own moving average. 4-hour time frame. Let's look left and see, why have you done this to me? Again, this is doing this to me now. What? It's doing this to me now. My chart's just broken because I'm a scaff on the poor scaffy data. Ugh. Right, so also, wait, is the volume different there? What? Yeah, here, that's pure whack. Right, so at least the other one had an excuse, right? It was force sensing and all this jazz. So what's this thing up to? Is it just my charts? Valensco is a biotechnology company. It is engaged in the development and manufacturing of... Oh my goodness, it's a drugs! Hey, you've got proprietary extract. What's that all about, eh? I'll proprietary extract. You Raj, what you like? We must leave the plant alone. Right, so I'll draw Fibonacci's on this ridiculous nonsense price action, shall I? And pretend it's real and stuff, will we? Trading views, blogging? No, it's just a biotech company screwing up charts. You know what they're like? Can't you trust them, Bunsen Burn? You can't trust them. Can't trust them as far as you can throw them. You can't throw them because regulations like got to handle them with care. So anyway, right, this thing breakdown, where did we measure that? We were on the daily time frame. Let's just keep to the daily time, right? You can do it all on the daily and the weekly anyway, right? So Where was this? This was from your most recent high here, okay? And you made the extension. You think that's probably time for an oscillation to the top side now. Yes, you would. You would think that, right? And then from that high to this low, you'd probably define like an important level above you then as a 236, and that comes in confluent with a 50 simple period moving average on the daily time frame. So why would you need the stupid 4-hour nonsense in the first place, right? We're off killing it back here. And then there's loads of other areas you'd look at as well today spotting, right? We're going to take it from this time down to this low. We're going to stay, make that more accurate trace point. And then we're going to go back into the 236 and say there's another level above you and around 1 spot 28, which is, you know, obviously there a significant distance above. You can also see the golden pocket there, top side of that. Might mean you've got a liquidity zone, an area to break through. It's also a touch of resistance. Looking left, you can see that that would be difficult even from the minute you reach the 0.5. So anywhere from like 1.69, right, it's actually less than that. It's 1.65 or something. But if anything from 169 up to and around 195, there's going to be a lot of opportunities for price action to stall, and then, like, you know, we'll see what happens after that. Those aren't necessarily positive experiences. You know, you had a lower low there on RSI and on price action, nothing desperate, but you did manage to completely lose the center line afterwards, which is like, well, that's not going to be a positive trend, is it? And that's what speaks to what you need to do here. You need to get back above the center line, not just recover your own outside the bearish control zone. This positive cross looks good. You don't have divergence to go with this move. You didn't have, you know, your tiny touch of class B divergence at this stage, failing to put in that high. That's not great. Nothing obvious there. Shall we dive lower? No, we'll go higher. Screw you and your crappy screwing us thing. We'll go higher and work out different things. Right, you didn't expect us to do that, did you? Stupid trading view, cheating us out of everything. And why are you not giving me the right colors? I hate it when you give me these crap colors. Right. Yes. Okay. Thank you. And the Donchian channels, right? So we're continuation of these lows expected here. Constantly putting those in daily time frames. Similar picture up to the weekly. That's not fantastic. You know, you're constantly putting in lower lows on every time frame here that we've got any information about. Top side of the Donchian channels is now confluent with the golden pocket and the 50 simple period moving average on the daily time frame. 2-day time frame, you can see that still a little bit of room there above those levels, though you would find it difficult to make a full extension of beyond the 886 and break this previous Fibonacci and defeat that trend. Would be very difficult without putting in some sort of previous oscillation, giving yourself like a high and then a retracement and then an oscillation to measure targets and steps up to it. It might well be that it takes a while to do that then. Do-do-da-da-do-da-dee and diddle-da-dee, diddle-da-do-da-do-da-dee. Right, trade spotting. So, yes, golden pocket retracement. If you hold this 236, you're nowhere near that yet, right? So that might be the place you aim to, 176. Though I'd even say that's like asking for a little bit much. It's a 236 you're aiming for up at 128. Price action is currently 1.001, and you're looking for a positive cross to happen. I'm going everything on daily time frame when you're in like a negative trend, and this is a negative candle, and price action's like opened and gone down 6.48%. So I don't know what I'm getting all excited about. So there's that, right? Tradespotting's going mad or something. Why does he think this is bullish? I don't know. Because he does. So there's a potential this will turn around. This is stupid time frames now. 4 hour, you're going to screw me. It looks right, not completely absurd at the minute. You've had a cross. You've failed to make it out of the bearish control zone. That's not great. And you're putting in lower lows. Also looks like lies. And I find everything that this chart says hard to believe. And volume's like completely different from what I just looked at. That's just what the fuck. Anyway, so then a 2 hour time frame. Right, let's just wait. 200 period moving averages. I see that. It's at the golden pocket. Maybe I did. The also top side of the Donchian channels currently at the 236. That's what we'll be aiming for. You're not getting that. What I'm really down here looking for is a buy signal off this momentum indicators, which I'm not getting. I'm getting sell signals, and stop that. And that's not great. 30 minutes. Well, maybe you get the move here then, right? No. You'd have to be hoping for something like, I mean, I don't say you have to be hoping for, because, right, who cares about the hoping, whatever. Maybe you'd be looking for on the 4-hour time frame to be able to say like that, and we broke that, and that was, I mean, it's not right. It's just, this is just a shitty channel, so it's not going to give you much. Maybe let's just be really optimistic and say it's that, and then let's like, no, damn, we can't even do it. It's still a channel. No matter where you go, it'll always be a channel. One channel to channel them all, right? And then you remove like, I don't know how even accurate that is, but so you did make it out of it. Would take you back to 236 again. You so what you're looking for here? You've had a test of that. You've got a test of a horizontal now. 4 hours says 30 minutes says you've had it. You potentially got a cross there. Can't trust this. Full stop. And that, if it is real, isn't great. I mean, maybe that's the wedge, in which case it breaks to the center line at 50, it gets back up there, and you do hit that 236. I would be like, you did pretty crazy if you're trading it beyond there, considering that everything seems fake. And like, how's that working? That maybe does work in this. Yeah, they do work. I mean, they must be real. And then, no. What? Anyway, no, maybe, right, okay, right, anyway, this looks good enough. So, maybe I'm just confusing myself now, right? It's the tale of two Fibonacci's, and you know what I said yesterday? If you didn't, and you probably don't follow me on Twitter, which is, like, up to yourself, you're perfectly welcome to. If you don't, you've probably got something wrong with your gain, right? But, like, everybody has something wrong, so that's not a problem. Two sprockets make a set. And so that's what you'd be looking to here. If you're crazy, you'd be looking for those. Like if you do, like wrenching your trades, then that's where you're going. Are you connected to some bazaar broker? Bazaar? It's the bazaar. I'm at the bazaar. It's actually down at the bazaar. That's where we all buy our trades now. Ooh, yay. Can we go to the bazaar and buy some of those spicy stonks? Let me try your wares, sir. That's what it's like down at the bazaar. I'm looking at the chat box as if I'm looking at you, knowing perfectly well I can just actually look up and actually look at your big face there. What? As if she leaves, she's not the one. Right, totes. Aye, well, there's that way of looking at it. Also, there's the other way, which is the same thing, but perhaps more positive to say, love conquers all, right? So if it's meant to work out, it will. And if it doesn't, right, in the meantime, you can trade and get real. And what you'll probably do is you'll realize that this is what's more important. It's freedom and your own destiny that's not attached to any other human being other than those you choose to spend it with. And if they're not choosing to spend it with you in the meantime, then that's great time to get productive, right? Work, and if you don't have enough work, do other people's work, right? And get working. And being busy is a blessing. And I'm very lucky to be busy talking to you people. And I shall be back doing more of it tomorrow, Friday, for the market open stream. It'll be fantastic. And then, as usual, as always, we can't forget, never forget, we got the sploshing. Or is it sloshing? Oh, it's Friday, so it's fun. See you then. Hit the like button. Share this with some friends, Share with some friends. Come and look at BBBY. Holy sugar, I nearly hit the end button. And I see, we have it. Can you take a look at BBBY? We can. You can. Bed bath and big baths and beyonds. Thank you very much, Natural. Bloody hell, you're very generous today. Holy sugars, Shadow of Lepton, another $5. Thanks for the insight, yo. Bloody hell. Oh my god, the wireless going mental. Can you hear it? It's going mental. It is amazing. Holy goodness, it's going crazy. And the one, look at BBY. Look at that. Holy sugars. Right, well, this was like great to boast about, and I've done that. I had a lot of boasting about it. Now, price action's back down at these sort of levels. 886, 236. You've gone through that one. Oh, that's not fabulous. Right, let's just clean up some of these. They did a job for us at the time. This was interesting. For some reason, I found it important enough to draw a circle. There's a tick. Right, so congratulations. That time did well. Great gap filled. This, great. Thank you. Have a great day, my friend. I'm going to look at it again. Got another vote for BBBY from space, so I can't not do it. The wheel keeps going. This is like Tadpole Games classic Tadpole Games. Oh, if you haven't seen it, right? We did a whole series, 10 episodes. It was incredible. Thank you and have a great day. Well, we've not finished yet. God, wheel's still spinning even. Never mind my brain. Right, so, shall we just get rid of this Fibonacci too? Just be like, no, we're zealots. No, look, this Fibonacci up here was interesting. The 618 came back to test that level when you broke back above this 236 here. That's also where you currently find the 200 period moving average in the 4-hour time frame. Go back to the daily, and your 200 period moving average is above the 50 simple, which is a negative splay, you can see that you've got a negative slope on the pair of them. The pair of them. Polar Dog, how are you doing, my friend? My small early morning trade tribute to Jeremy. Wow, you just scratching the crust off his eyes, and he still made it here and chipping in the money and everything. Wow, trooper. Thank you very much. And now it's there, written in history. Say forever. Thank you very much, Polar Dog. Cheers. And yourself as well, you're very, very, very generous. Thank you very much. And in advance, I also got crisis of confirmation and then show that message. And then another moderator had already handled it great because I didn't even know what it said. Right. So this is what we were saying, right? Why is that orange line up there? You can just come here because that's like nifty and I need you anyway. So fantastic. And these are all dotted lines. God, they really do my head in them ones. So I'm just going to delete them. And then I'm going to move you to 236 because, wait, and your wife, for some reason they've got a circle there. Right, so for some reason that was awful important at one point. Get out of my face now though. Right, so there's a 236. You can go and so can you. Bye. That was the downward sloping line here that was predicting these highs. Great, you broke through that level. That was great. You went to that level horizontal when you broke through the downward sloping diagonal. Like that's very simple. It's very simple. This is a previous high looking left here, right? That's what we're measuring our 533 from Senor Homer as well. Thanks so much, everybody, today. Thanks so much. Today's been really good for that stuff. It's really great. Thanks, guys. Right. And girls. For those who have. And if you haven't, shame on you. Right, no, only joking. So, but yeah. So there's that, and we did that already. And there's 236. And delete that. And then we say recovered. No, you didn't. You got failure at 236 at your most recent touch there, which is negative. And you add that to what we already said on the daily about the splay and the slope of the moving averages, and those two are important, and that's negative. You've most recently touched the golden pocket and come quite far back now, significantly. Let's take it from this high, say to that stage. You need to, if this is the bottom, which there's no particular reason why it would be, you'd be looking at 1660 to define positive move to upside. That's $3 on a 13 and change. That's quite a lot already. So like when it does make a move, there will be a big oscillation. This is huge volatility. That'll probably calm down a little bit. Mid-level of the range, perhaps up to around $19. Top side of that, you wouldn't necessarily expect to go beyond the 200 period moving average until you see something positive. And this is the daily time frame. We're seeing nothing yet. So continuation to the downside expected, but that's a big chunk of percentage there. Though there's a lot of things negative about that. So that's the daily time frame. That's all negative. Below the 236. Rejected from the golden pocket and then like come back to the 236 and using it as resistance is crap. At that stage, you might be looking at extensions on, against this previous trend. Here's your low before. Here's the high. At that stage, you broke the 236. You'd be looking at the golden pocket. That's confluence with the 236. It's where you found resistance rather than support. That's really negative. Then you went beyond the 786 to the 886, and this is the first place you might expect to bounce then. And then should you get one, the 236 and the golden pocket and the top side, that would be like a strong move up to anywhere up around $17 would be a really strong move from here. I don't think that's necessarily going to happen. You've got the 786 that you've gone through in advance. Maybe that forms some level of resistance. Let's say you did have, we already defined the 236 was above that though. So, that's like potential opportunity then, to break that 786 if you did move to the top side right now and get up at 16 spots, 69. Boom, bang, bosh. Thank you very much. That would be great. Like I say, $3 on the $13. Market, like today's high, 1490. So you're asking a lot. I mean, it's only just open, but you're asking a lot. It's not been a great opening range for 45 minutes. Hour haven't been fabulous. What time is it now? Oh my goodness. It's the first hour. Right, so you're back below the 886, and there's a 1.1 free extension. This is starting to look like other things we've looked at this morning, isn't it? There's a 1.1 free. You hold that 886, I'd expect you to try and test that 236. It's a good move. If you don't, then you're down to that 1.1 free extension at $10.97. And it still speaks to the fact that this is like, some people would say this is a no trade range, but you've got like a proper entry, and you've also got like to use the same areas as if you wanted just a tight stop loss. And if you're on a lower time frames, maybe you get signals that give you the sale. At the minute, you're not getting it, right? Sign to buy. You're not getting those at the minute. So we'll look at lower time frames briefly, but should none of that happen, and like if you were actually trading this and looking for a real entry, probably the $10 would be better, right? Because then you can try about oscillations back to the 236 within this, right? Which would be 11 to 14 maybe, probably take us a break at 13. It was less of a percentage move, but you would be much more likely to be like, especially if you were looking for bounces, like a bounce at an 886, not necessarily, right? It's like you're hoping it doesn't break the trend. That's the truth. So And at the minute, it's not giving me any confidence. That's the daily on the 4. Are you going to mess my head around? No, it isn't. No, easy, neat. This is speculative fibs. We'll delete it for now. Get out of town. Thank you. And yes, so the 886, 786, you've gone through that. Like I said, talked about that, right? You talked about this. Break that horizontal. Bad news. That's an extension. RSI's in the bearish control zone that failed when it tried to get above the top side, and you've got a negative cross to the downside. You also had that cross coming through as you got rejected from the 200 period moving average. You had invalid sell signals at this point. You didn't actually have a signal from the MACD on the 4 hour there. On the 1 hour, no, it's 2 hour. Again, you got like 2/3 of a signal, but one of the big ones not. It was like, it was 1/3 actually. Didn't get that, but you did get rejected from the center line, did put in potential bearish divergence. So you did have enough of a reason to go short there. And then this would be perhaps the first area you would be managing your, well, there, but it's very tight from that entry. No, it wouldn't be 25% off price action. Bloody hell. That was a really good short signal at that point. 25% already. We'd be able to manage risk there and take profit and keep shitloads of profit on the table as well here, or take it down to the next level. And if that doesn't hold, then you potentially follow in it with a stop loss, taking it there, or even all the way down to $7, right? That BBY lose 50% its value. You could do if people are against it. If you've had a 50 period moving average cost below the 200 in the 2 hour, you have got a potential bullish divergence if you do to put in a local low. And then again, at this point, speculative Fibonacci perhaps has a degree of value, keeping it there, and that would be where you define it as a local low. You'd follow that yourself. Obviously, this is my computer, and I have like my mouse not used, so it's impossible for you to do it. But then there, you'd be pulling it down towards these lows. That'd be 236. That would be aiming for to the upside to be able to define this as a local low, be able to say this is bullish divergence, and then aim for a bigger move to top, back up there, and we'll be able to reclaim some of that 25% that you lost in the start of this trend. But doesn't look like it's happening right now. Tradespotting, Brandon Johns Long, or formerly Tiger Blood. Can we gander at GME? Tradespotting seems to be looking for your called support earlier. We can look at it very much. 120 spot 88. Here we are. Bing bong. Bing bong. That is a rejection wick and now a rejection candle. It's taking you back below the bad murder significantly there out of this golden pocket. And you're looking for these ranges. What's your name there? Brandon Johns Long, or formerly Tiger Blood. Formerly Tiger Blood. You'll be around here on the 19th and you'll be formerly. That's what's happening. Everyone, heads chopping off, left, right, center, up, down, all sorts of different ways to be chopping them up. Watermelon shapes out of it after that. Cubes, jars. It's going to be fun. Cocktail sticks. Yo. Right. Tradespotting seems to be looking for your so-called support. Yeah, look for my support. Look for me. Look for me. Look for all the cheese makers. Right, so yeah, any of these areas, right? Any of these areas. I don't know if it's necessarily going to get counted there today, right? This is already a large move to the upside. Why did it move down outside of this, right? Did we draw in I don't know. Did we do any of this, like drawing in those sort of lines? I don't see any of them. But I thought I did. Maybe this was AMC. We did something like that one. Was it? Yeah. And so maybe it does bounce here, right? I don't actually think that that's significant. You've only had 2 touches before, and this was the real, and you've broken it, right? This was it, and it's broken. Stop it. And like I say, and now you've used it as resistance. Price action falling below here. It's also back in the bearish control zone there. It's pretty brutal. That, what's to say, 30 minutes. 30 minutes. This rejection at 50 simple. We talked about that. You're losing the center line there. That's not great. And you've got a cross in the MACD. That's not great. You're below the 200 period moving average, but this is coming significantly close enough at midway the center line that people would pay attention to it. And the fact that it's like continuation of a downtrend means it's hard to dismiss. So I mean, like, these are the next levels below. Macro levels more than like micro levels. It could easily just pop back up to these 125 now and spend a big chunk of the day there, and like boink boink boink, stick on the VWAP. I'm not interested in all those other versions of it right now. And then doesn't suggest you come back up, right? I was maybe hoping it would be good, but it's bad news. Tradespotting, how did you get this good so casual as well? I have to pause sometimes and rewatch some of the shit you say. Boing, so that. How to get us good. Rocky Outcrop always sat next to me, helping me in that, like loads of times, right? From school and university and that, he always given me confidence to keep trying, keep going, and to remember like that I was smarter than other people. Well, I mean, I didn't believe it at the start, but like then afterwards remember it. And then every time things got difficult, reminded me be calm, and we'd come this far already and we were never going to stop. And just practice, practice, and that, and then just steeped in it, right? Died in the wool, and like, that's what you talk about a lot of the time, and then it becomes second nature to you, and then you're living, breathing charts. And then when you're teaching it to other people, it also gives you an extra degree of mastery. You know, it really does help me communicate. Communicating my thoughts helps me conceptualize them again in future, and like establishing these synaptic networks or whatever. Knowing I can rely on the flow of the information and the narrative coming together, and being confident at doing it makes it all easier. And you'll all get there too. I'll help. I mean, this is you can learn through osmosis, right? You can learn everything that I know through osmosis, but it's very difficult cobbling it together bit by bit, and you don't have like the learning outcomes and the guided structure of it, and that's why there's a course, and people ask for it for ages, and it's there, and I think it's very good value despite the fact that it costs money. I think it's really good value, and it keeps getting better. And the thing with learning from YouTube videos is there is a chance that there'll be like severe gaps in your knowledge because you don't know what you don't know. And then there's also like that aspect of the Dunning-Kruger effect, and then there's the other aspects of like what hits your confidence, things that hit your confidence along the lines. So we're all lucky to have each other. If it's in this chat box, if it's like the help I got from Rocky, he's on live after me. He's the best show on YouTube for traders. He is. And then, you don't have the chat box, then Rocky's Discord is a great place for it, right? They're all real traders, and they're really, really trying to change your life. And I'm tweaking a lot of yous now, so you know what it's like. And then, I'm there trying to help as much as possible, and more now that my uncle's up. My uncle's there, right? My uncle's just up. Love my uncle. He's such a nice guy. He's completely different mentality to me, right? He's like a psychologist, and it's very different from me. But he's really interesting man, and he's up and he's got terminal illness. He was staying with me, and he was like just coming up to see, for company for a while. And my dad has also got a brain tumor, and we're caring for him, Rocky and I. So we would see him a lot and do a lot of things with him. So it's difficult, busy a lot of the time. Why am I talking about this? When I'm just thinking, bing bong. That was great. Anyway, why was I talking about that? Yeah, I was busy, so I wasn't on Discord for the last weekend as much. That's really over the weekend, the last couple of days. That's what I was meaning. I'm not moaning, right? Everyone's got problems. Some are much worse than mine. And like, I know what it's like. That's true. Not that I know what it's like, but I know that's true. So thanks, everybody. And for being here, and you could have been anywhere. So thanks. And I hope I gave you some good value. And there's loads of really nice messages there. And Bing Bong from Homer as well. So thanks to everybody. Parlor Dog, The Shadow of Leptin, Homer's Ghost, The Natural Friend, thank you very much. Shadow of Leptin again, Natural Friend again, thank you very much. Blue Petroleum Buck, thank you very much. Natural Friend again, thank you very much. Natural Friend again, thank you very, very much. Wow. And then earlier, JT started off with, that was really generous. Thanks, JT. And Ronaldo started off. Holy sugars, Ronaldo's the king of the stream. What was I doing? That was separate, so he wins. Ronaldo wins. Ronaldo wins as usual. Excellent. Right, hopefully this is good. There's bits of value in here from everybody, right? Hope there's bits of value. And if you found, like, it might have been in the TA, it might have been in the motivational bit at the start, it might be because you prefer AMC or GME opposed to the other, and you want a little bit of that to be, look, these are information that's interesting, or, there's loads of stuff here, like, in terms of, like, I'm able to talk about places below an area slightly lower than where price action is at the moment in a way that's hopefully motivating to people, right? Because I believe that it's going to go up over a period of time. So things quite fucking obvious. So, there's basic things I say that you can, people will hopefully find value in it that not necessarily, you wouldn't think necessarily interested in YouTube videos and so on. And that, you might think that yourself. A lot of the people in this chat box don't actually spend any time on YouTube if it's not these videos. So thanks for being here, everybody. And I think we covered everything now, and I've probably earned a cup of tea. Thanks so much. Everybody who supports the stream, everybody who hit like, everybody who watches it, thanks so much. And another thing, right, like I said, people say, what is it that got you good at doing this? It's Rocky who helped me. Like, I can't emphasize that enough, right? And anything you ever do to thank Rocky is honoring anything I've ever do for you. So thanks so much for everybody who ever puts anything in that. And I swear to God, like the options there are all things that are designed to help you. Same here, right? So great. Thanks very much. Take care of each other. See you tomorrow.